merci. So I try to speak English. You know, I'm French, so not very useful for me. No, I'm joking, I'm French. My accent is bad, it's not that bad, don't worry. I'll be able to do a keynote. I was in Geneva yesterday. It's a very different energy than Dublin. Very first time in Ireland. Geneva yesterday, it's a very feminine energy, right? I had salad in the morning, and then I had a glass of rosé, and I got here this morning, and here I got my beans, my sausage, my beer for breakfast. I guess I'm not alpha enough, right? I need to spice up my manhood, I guess, in Ireland. So maybe you guys help me. I'm here for 2 days. My story with engagement in life, in happiness, start back a very long time. You know, like many French, I was not born happy. Not many of us are, really. You know, you've seen the protests lately. And then one day I wanted it to change. So I went to America, I spent 15 years. And then I was obsessed about making people happier, more engaged about life. So I first started about just happiness in general, and then about employee engagement. So I became obsessed. I create happy hacking days, which were hackathons on technology and well-being around the world. I started an event called Stand Up for Passion, where people have to come and tell the story of their life and share why they became who they are. You can watch all the videos on YouTube. We did it in 30 countries. And then people ask me to start doing the work in companies, right? So I start to become a coach and keynote and writing about what I see as engagement inside of the company. And this is why today we have a company called Humanova for now 2 years, based in Bordeaux, and we help with cohort-based learning, AI, anything around coaching. I'll tell you a little bit more at the end. So what's common between those three guys, right? What's the commonality? None of them, as far as I know, worked in technology, right? I think none of them worked in startups. None of them were into well-being, into motivational speaking. Yet, I found some really good quotes, some good nuggets, right? Our singers talked about vulnerability, right? To be yourself anywhere you are, taking risk. And I so agree with her, right? Anytime we talk about employee engagement, you need to let people talk about their purpose, why they're here, right? How can they show up as themselves, as their authentic self, which is what 90% of under 32 years old want anyway. Otherwise, they'll leave the company. Our excellent MMA fighter, said these amazing phrases. Excellence is not a skill, it's an attitude. You can use it as long, of course, as you don't shout it to your employees, right? They might want you to fight you in the ring. And then our dear Oscar told this very simple sentence, but so true. You don't like your job? Well, imagine yourself without one. When we think about engagement, life, I think personally of Bali, right? And that's the photo of a female entrepreneur in tech based out of Bali. And like I'm sure some of you in the room, you have friends maybe based in Bali or that want to go there because they'll be so engaged, right? When you are there on this island, you have the 6 pillars of employee engagement. You're thriving because you're doing what you can with what you have. You have a purpose. Your purpose is very clear for all my friends, even tech friends based there, is they want to be their best self, they work on their health, be grateful to their family. They're autonomous, they're very autonomous, right? They choose to be based in Bali. Community, as you know, in this island, there's a lot of tech people, there's a lot of wellness people, so you have a great community having your back all the time. And then you have a vision, clear, how many years you want to stay usually in Bali. Some never come back, they're still happy. And then well-being with the wave and the sun. Since many of us, let's be transparent, we can't move to Bali because we have kids in school or let's be honest, it's really hard to scale up a tech company from Bali. If you have less than 10, 20 employees, might be okay. So why don't we bring back Bali inside our company for employee engagement, right? So well-being, you need to have this satisfaction between employees. What Google call it with the Aristotle project. I suggest all of you to Google the Aristotle project. It's about psychological safety. Make sure everyone respects each other based on their value system, on their purpose. Thriving, you have to make sure each of your employee is challenged by what he or she lacks, right? All of us need different challenge. And all of us different challenge based on our rhythm, on our energy, purpose. You need to know each of your employee purpose, right? What is it they want to accomplish at some point in their life, either for the world, which many people want, or for themselves. And I'm not one to judge purpose. Community, again, to have this sense of community, very difficult now with the remote working. It's great for personal happiness, really bad for corporate culture, as all managers here know, right? So every CEO doesn't know how to keep the culture since everyone is at home. You need to create this sense of community, and we'll see in a minute how to do that with tech. And vision, you have to be transparent in your work as a manager, as a CEO, where it is that you want to go. So again, for those of you like me who cannot be based in Bali, I've yet to convince my wife, you can bring Bali back to your company. And let's be dark for a minute. I don't know of any managers or CEO who doing something about employee engagement unless he truly imagine the cost of inaction. What would it be if he does nothing? So picture 2025, 18 months from now. Imagine your employee, how sad and depressed and burnt out they are, even much more than today. What would happen in their company, with their friends, with their colleagues, in their life if you don't do anything, right? For anything in terms of reinvention or for taking action, you need to visualize and feel within yourself the pain of going through an office with everyone looking like her right now, with everyone sad and depressed and not feeling where they're supposed to be. So for years now, HR and coaches, before tech came, had the traditional approaches. Boring, 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 right? We need fitness discount. I mean, everyone can spend 200 euro a year, most of the employees in this room at least. We don't need it. Employee surveys, 4 to 5%. Answer it. I know many of my company have employee survey startups. The truth is, almost no one answer them. Performance meeting, out of dated. Recognition program, very few works. It's a really good idea. KPI, we need it. I know I have employee, I have a company, yet many of us, manager, use it in a bad way, right? We use it to, I said, to keep people insane, right? They're driven by the wrong motives. So now, and keep in mind, I was a very a people person. I'm a people addict. That's what gives me energy. Having a conversation, coaching someone to bring his or her best. Yet now technology offers us so many things to help our employee and ourselves to get better at performance and better mentally, right? Don't think of mental health anymore. I like the term mental wealth, la richesse mentale. Everything you can do to feed what's in there, which is the most important, not your wallet, right? You might go poor tomorrow. We don't know what happens. But if this is okay, you'll go for a long run. Mental health, mental tech, wearable tech. I'm sure, like many of you, the Oura ring only costs 200 euros. You can offer that to your employee. Help me to sleep better. And don't worry, I'm not paid by Oura people, right? I just decided last night I'm going to talk about this ring. I love it. I've not been able to sleep for 10 years. Now it tells me my deep sleep, my average sleep. I'm not a scientific. I don't remember the different kind of name of sleep, right? But give that to your employee. Only 200 bucks. Much better than a fitness discount. And there's so many wearable. They will actually thank you They will have a gratitude. As long as you have an employee having gratitude for you, that's it. This is the connection you want to create. When sometimes I talk about deep connection with managers, I'm not a spiritual guy, I don't need to create, they're just here to work. Only 10% of people are here for the paycheck, only. So unconsciously, everyone is here for something better, for something, they want to belong to something which is beyond themselves. And they don't know it, they do it unconsciously. Everyone wants this deep connection. AI-driven tool, fabulous what's happening. And again, keep in mind, until 3 years ago, COVID, I coached for 10 years around the world, and I would fly anywhere. I didn't believe into doing a Zoom, a Skype coaching. I didn't believe until COVID happened, and now I actually love it. I find it that because of the Visio ask us to be much more performing, to have all the minutes very intense with your someone. Some of the coaching are super intense, super high. We can talk, I'm here the whole day and tomorrow, about details on this. We're actually building our company, Humanova. We are building a leadership transformation bot. It's amazing because what I've seen as a leadership coach for the last 10 years, 80% of the question asked when I go into a team working with them, or 80% were the same question over and over. So if you get a bot, an AI bot, working 24/7, I'm sure like many of you, sometimes I wake up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning, and what should I do? What's the best solution for this? They will go to the AI bot. We see that happen now for the last 6 months. Individual group coaching or group coaching. What we've seen now, there's more and more what we call cohort-based coaching. Again, in Visio, you take 10 people, you take a coach really good at facilitating people's stories. People want to be heard. And what I've seen, incredible, that sometimes when people are behind the desk and when they are not in the same room, they can actually share this story better online because they don't have the person next to them. Everyone is behind the screen. So we've been doing incredible helping people to share the story on cohort-based coaching or remote coaching. 4 sessions, 90 minutes over the course of 4 to 5 weeks. Gamification, same thing. I was not a gamer, I'm still not a gamer. It's not my thing playing game. The fact is 90% of the under 32 years old love game. It's the world so we need to game anything we do. Anything with employee engagement, they will be making points. So purpose, let them talk about the purpose, they get some points. Wearable tech, they get more points. This is the world we live. Like it or not, make it everything gamify, and it's so easy with all the apps we have. Upskilling and reskilling. Before we had to go to a room, a classroom. Most people, until COVID, whenever they would go to a classroom to lead some new skills, half of them were asleep, half of them was just a way to take a day off. Now it's 24/7. We have 100 videos on our platforms to learn sort of any skills, mental skills for my industry. But it's at your fingers, it's your fingertip, the way to you reskill. And we know it's the big demand, right? Like 200 million jobs going to be lost by AI and 100 million are going to be created. So everyone's going to need to reskill himself every 6 months. 6 months. OCDE, the European OCDE, said a skill 20 years ago could take, 25 years ago, would last 25 years. 25 years. Now, it's down to 6 to 7 months. Every 6 to 7, you need to have a new skill. So it takes a lot of time to find the right classroom at the right property, the right time for you. Use peer-to-peer mentoring for the very first time in history. I'm sure I'm not teaching you anything new there, but I'm reminding you, for the very first time in history, people of 20 years old, 30, 40, 50, and 60 years old are working together in the same room on the same project with a hierarchy not so clear, right? Some 30 years old manage some 60. Everything is blur nowadays, right? It's a cross skill, it's a cross project. peer-to-peer mentoring through Visio. Because maybe the right guy or the right woman to teach your 20 years old is maybe in Tokyo or Singapore or Pakistan or wherever, right? So you need to find the right person inside your organization or a different organization. Check out what junto.eu does, for instance. They take some of the best teachers in different skills to mentor anywhere in the world people. They will take, for instance, the top digital marketing of Microsoft to teach some mentoring. Team building, as I was saying, you can actually do part of the team building online to prepare people, to prepare the spirit. What I found, and I didn't believe in it, again, 3 years ago, prior to the pandemic. If you send people some key question about their life online nowadays, because people have so much to share, and they're so stressed, and they're so burned out, they're actually sharing, right? Especially if it's an external company like ours. If it's to the HR department, they're not gonna share everything. If it's to an outside coaching company, they will share. And then you use it as a coach, as a manager, everything you learn to create the best virtual team building possible, right? So, like our friends say, it's not about talent, it's about obsession, right? This is why there's more and more head of people and culture. I was one of the pioneers in Europe of the Chief Happiness Officer program. You might like it, you might not like it, I don't care. But what is sure is you need someone within your organization who's a specialist of people, right? Community organizer, former volunteer, head of volunteer at NGOs are some of the best people you can find at this job, if they have a business sense, right? If they understand the way a company works. You need to find someone obsessed by people. And often, more often than not, it's not the HR department, right? As we all know. You need to bring that person. Coaching, you need to start. Online keynotes. Online keynotes, same thing. I didn't believe it. I love a real stage with real people. But sometimes, if you need to inspire, if your organization have hundreds, thousands of employees around the world, you take a good keynote speakers, good camera, good lights, you have them do a tailor-made keynote, and it will work perfectly in order to inspire people to change and actually take action to be more human at work. Evangelist cohort, right? The goal is just to create evangelists on the nature of wellness and performance. This is my information for all of you that want to connect. Thank you so much. This is my time.